Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Sky Sports Golf Podcast. Hope everyone's good. Had a good weekend of golf, busy weekend of golf, dramatic weekend of golf. I still feel a bit sick. We'll come on to Scandinavian Mixed very quickly. First up, I'm going to get into guests. Not going to be a massive podcast this week. Guests first. Robert Lee, good afternoon.
Are you sort of robbing your public, Josh, when you open up with, it won't be a very long podcast this week? Are you shortchanging them in some way?
But maybe I'm double bluffing. Maybe we're going to... The chat's going to be so great, it just so happens to be 55 minutes at the end.
4 beat the pros at the end.
Exactly. Absolutely. Rob, how you been?
Yeah, good, Josh. Very good, yeah. But an interesting weekend of golf, that's for sure.
Oh, just a bit. Second guest. Now, for those of you old enough to know who David Fairclough was, or maybe if you love football, you know who David Fairclough was in the 70s, 80s for Liverpool. Super sub. We got our very own super sub today. He's come in, 20 minutes. We had a very late cancellation. He's come in right at the last minute. Jamie Spence, hello.
Hello. It's the only time you get me on. It's when everyone else can't be asked. So you get muggins here to come on there.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
Of course it is.
I don't think there's been a modern day David Fairclough. Do you?
Consider myself David Fairclough. I have to be honest with you. I'm trying to think of somebody else. And I can't.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
No.
Solskjaer is not a bad shout. Good shout.
Yep. Who wants
Very
to
good
play
shout,
sub?
yeah.
Who wants to play sub? No one.
Jamie, we're going to come on to Scandinavian Mixed probably first. You got back quite late last night, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, reasonably late. No, not too bad. I got home about midnight. I couldn't sleep and stuff. But it was what should have been a walk in the park and a stroll and a pretty dull day turned out to be one of the best afternoons I can remember. Really, it was compelling stuff in a very sad way.
A brutal way. We'll come on to it 1 second. Rich B was meant to be the other guest, everyone. He had to pull out very late. But
thanks,
when
Beamer.
I asked him,
thanks,
thanks.
Boo!
When I asked him the other day, and he went, "Yeah, I can do it." He went, "Book 'em, Dano," and he went to me, "You won't get that reference." I went, "How dare you, Beamer? How dare you?" Of course, I know who it was. And then we got into chats about.
Of course, I've seen Batman.
Yeah, of course, I've seen Monk. Then we got into chats about TV detectives, and that made me think: who is the best TV detective? Rob Lee. Who's the best TV detective?
Columbo, hands down.
Correct.
Columbo.
That is the correct answer. That is absolutely the correct answer.
My wife.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
I reckon Jamie's got a couple.
I love them. I love TV detective shows. I love them. I've been watching reruns of the Sweeney with Regan. That's way back in the day. Love it.
That is.
We're the Sweeney, and we haven't had our dinner.
Right, let's go straight to golf. And you know what? At one point yesterday, I thought, well, we don't need to talk about the Scandinavian Mix on the podcast because it'll be a walk in the park. If anyone has not read the news or didn't watch yesterday, as Jamie said, I'd argue it's the most dramatic tournament I've seen for years. I genuinely can't remember a final day like it, really. Sebastian Soderberg had an 8-shot lead at the start of the day. It slowly wilted away. And Lynn Grant posted a 65. She was about 6 holes ahead of Soderberg, maybe less. She chipped in on the last for birdie. And Soderberg coming home just... I don't know what to say without swearing. But final hole, drive in the middle of the fairway. Needed a par to win outright. 160 left in, pin on the right, bunker on the right. Had a 7-iron, and he put it in the bunker. And the ball nearly completely plugged. He chunked it to 20 feet, had the par putt to win, put it to a foot and a bit for the playoff, and he 360 lipped out. I was doing voiceover, and our producer came back to me afterwards, and I genuinely wasn't sure what to say. It was utterly shocking to watch. A 77 in the end. Jamie, sum up. You were in the commentary box. Sum up what the atmosphere was just like in the commentary box there.
Yeah, it was when he missed that part. It was a shock. By the way, when he knocks it down there, Richard was sort of saying, "Well, we're going to go to the playoff," and I sort of mouthed to him. I said, "He hasn't hold this yet," because we've been in those situations where you totally lose your game, your head's all over the place, and nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. And he just crawled his way round yesterday.
Oof.
There was no fire. There was no intent, I didn't feel from him. I wanted him to get a bit angry or something, but he sort of just wandered around, which he's done, which is his MO. That's how he plays. But sometimes you got to grab it and speed. There were 2 holes behind. That doesn't help when you're wandering around. It's getting away from you. I just felt he needed a bit of an energy boost, and wow, you could see it coming from the back 9. You could see it coming, and it was horrible to watch. I wanted him to win, but the one place you couldn't go on the last was in that bunker. The one place. And
just go miles left.
Anything left. Well, not miles left, but front left is fine. We're all sitting here, armchair bloody experts, but the other thing here is the course for the ladies. Yes, it was certainly easier. There's no doubt about that. You can't get away from that. Soderberg's hitting 7-iron in, Lindgren hit a wedge into the last, and she hit a wedge into 16. So she was hitting wedge everywhere. She hits it a long way for a woman.
She hits it a long way,
She's one of the longest ones, but Soderberg's not short. So it's a difficult battle. I felt Lindgren had to get to minimum 18 to have a sneak. She got to 17 and still won. I think she was in shock as well, because they showed her on the range watching it. He'd flown all his mates in. All his mates were there.
Did he? Really?
Oh, yeah. Apparently all his mates flew in, came down.
Oh.
So horrible to watch, because Rob and I have been in that situation where your game just disappears from you.
It was a really hard watch, I got to admit. And then they had the spy camera in the recorder's hut at the end. Joel Scholholm used to be a player on tour, now player relations. He was just standing there next to Soderberg. Soderberg's head was just in his hands, scratching his head like, what has just happened? Rob,
apparently his brother, the caddy, stood on the last green, just staring at the flag for a good minute and a half.
Wow.
In shock. Yeah. So it's
wow. And on home turf as well. On home turf for Soderberg. Rob, it's gonna take a long time, I think, this process, isn't it, for Soderberg?
Yeah, the trouble is with the big lead, he's the only guy that can lose on that day. You can get beaten in the tournament any time, but he's the only guy that in the whole field on the final day that could lose. And the stigma of losing an 8-shot lead and losing, particularly the way he finished with a double at the last, that's going to sting. But the C word. No one mentions the C word in golf, and it happens. It's a choke. It's what it is. We all choke. Every golfer in the world chokes. Whether you didn't commit to the shot you were thinking about, whether you made a triple over the last 4 holes, whatever it was. Everybody chokes in golf. And 63, 66, 66, 77. And he's just trying to... the lesson he's got to take from this, because he's a really good player, is he's got to play aggressively. Because he cannot sort of baby it around. He tried to baby it around. To me, that's how it looked. He looked like his swings weren't committed coming in. And that's not the way he plays his best stuff. His best stuff is when he's aggressive, because he can make an awful lot of birdies. And he tried to limp home. And as Jamie said, it was like if the shoreline's there and you're swimming and the tide's coming out, you keep trying hard. You just can't get to the shore. That's what it felt like. It felt like... And I have to say, after a great tee shot at 17, not a great birdie putt, then he knows part of the last wins, and he hits the great drive, leaves him just over 160. I did feel he was going to make a 4. I felt he could make a 4 from there, because he'd sort of steadied ship on 17 and hit a great tee shot up the last. I thought he could make a 4, because nothing against Lindgren. She's had a great final round. She's not trying to win. She's 8 behind. She's not trying to win. Great final round.
11 behind.
She was 11 behind.
Yeah, 11 behind. That's right. Second place was 8 behind. Yeah. So she's not...
More annoying.
Yeah. So good for her, but she wasn't trying to win. And it was he that was trying to just close the deal. And if he fell on his face, would be the guy that had to, front up in front of the world's press and go, I've made a mess of this. And he made a mess of it. But the one thing he's got to learn is that he's got to stay aggressive for 4 rounds. If it was a 5-round tournament, he would have won that by 5, 6, 7 shots. He would have gone out in round 4 like he did in rounds 1, 2, and 3 and pressed on. But because it was, I've got the big overnight lead, I'm expected to win. there's a lot of pressure in that. It's difficult.
Yeah, it was a hard watch. It really was a hard watch. Jamie, just quickly, we should say well done to Lynn Grant. A 65 on the final day. She was exceptional all 4 days, I thought. But Sunday, I mean, the chip in on the last as well, in the end, won it for her.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy shot, actually. She had a poor lie in the bank of the bunker there. Grass growing into her. She gave it a rip and it smashed into the middle of the hole. It had probably gone 6 feet wide and not gone in. But listen, she was trying to hole it and she knocked it in. I'm just slightly annoyed she beat my record of coming from 10 behind. So it's just like a double blow for me. She's a talented player, though. She's great to watch. She's got a great attitude.
I love her.
She looks the nicest person on the planet.
I love her swing, and good luck to her.
Yeah,
and I hope she's got enough talent if she can string it all together to get up near the upper echelons of the world rankings. She has that talent. She has, and she's an amazing golfer. But again, with her gifts, it was an easy golf course for her yesterday.
I think. So sorry to go on, but Soderberg was 20-1 on yesterday before the start of the round.
It was.
The next player was 35-1. That was Callum Hill, and I think Lynn Grant was in the hundreds, probably multiple hundreds. So that just tells you what happened yesterday.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I've not quite seen anything like that for a long, long time in sport, I would say.
I hope for Soderberg, he just chucks it all in the out bin. That's over. Yeah. Forget that. Next up. Who's next? I hope he does that. Don't dwell on it. It's one of those days. Didn't work out. You didn't have your best stuff. And next time, go out there and be aggressive.
That would be good to see. Jamie, I did say to you last week, I don't fancy Soderberg on a Sunday when you picked him.
You did.
I did.
I know.
I didn't think it'd be like that, I'll be honest. I didn't want it to be like that in the end.
You know what? I just had a feeling. I just had this feeling that it was going to...
Me too.
I just had this feeling from the start of the day because it was really windy. I just thought, you know what? There's something in the back of my head here that's just doesn't feel right here.
Did you express that to anyone? Did you say that to anyone?
I did. We did the stand up with Incy, and I said, "Look, funny things happen in golf because you listen. You're a mug, aren't you? If you say he's not going to win at the start of the day." But you just go. He's thrown it away before here, and it's home. We know the pressures, and if you start making bogeys, the one player that I thought that was going to beat him was not yesterday. Was Lynn Grant over the weekend. But she had a poor back nine, didn't she, on Saturday?
Yeah.
I thought that's it. She can't do it because she was just chipping into all the par fours. She's got that ability.
Yeah.
But I thought she'd blown it Saturday afternoon, but not.
But it's a very TV thing to say, isn't it? Oh, this is far from over. Oh, I tell you, this is far from over. We say that every week because you don't want to say, I tell you what, this is done and dusted. Don't bother watching.
We want some viewers.
Yeah. So you've got to build a scenario where it still stays alive, even if it's unlikely. You're going to build it. You're going to add to it in some way and say, I tell you what, he's still got to take care of business, or she better make sure that she plays as steady from the tee as she has, or whatever it is. Yeah, so we're always going to say.
But when you've got a player who's had a slight reputation of not seeing it through, you think, crikey, 8 shots is too many. But and I know, Rob, if someone makes a couple of birdies, he makes a couple of bogeys, it's game on, isn't it? And that's what happened.
Yeah.
It was Keimer, wasn't it? Keimer with a 10-shot lead.
Well, that was halfway round in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
He had 10 holes to play or something.
That was amazing. That still was amazing. And Keimer was pretty good then.
As well. He was.
But it has to come from the leader who reverse gears it and floors it. It has to come that way. Because she could have done no more. She had the best round of the day. Nobody beat 65, did they? I don't think so.
No, she left a few out there, Robert.
She had 7 pars in a row on the back 9 as well.
Yeah, she left a few out there.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Anyway. She is a talent, and amazingly, she's not had a really good a season on the LPGA tour. I think she had 1 top 10, and that's about it. So I mean, home soil, being near home, probably helped all the fans. Last night at the Memorial, he's back, everyone. Scotty Scheffler. If you ever doubted he wasn't going to be back, 5th win of 2024 for the world number 1. Won the Masters, the Heritage. Then he had a few hours in jail, watching himself in the jail cell on the news. Terrible result with an 8th place in at the PGA. Second last time out at Charles Schwab. And then last night on a brutal track at Muirfield Village. Rob, I know you watched last night. For people who didn't watch, how difficult was Jack's place playing last night?
Well, just a quick scenario before we get into that. At the start of Sunday, if you'd have said Scheffler's got a 4-shot lead with some studs behind him, 3 players tied at -6, 4 back, or Soderberg's got an 8-shot lead with not a stack of multi-winners behind him, who is more likely to win?
Good point.
But the golf course got firmer during the week. They could barely keep it on the putting surfaces yesterday, especially Muirfield Village is a course that you don't bounce it in. It's not like a links course.
No.
You have to pitch it on the greens. And they were just going pa-doing, and it was very, very, very difficult. Breaking par yesterday. Well, you can see the winner shot over par, a couple over, I think. I think he finished 8th.
Yeah.
So, not often you shoot 74 in the final round and go ahead and win.
Pretty rare. Yeah, an ugly Sunday for Scotty. It was for everyone, as Rob said. There were a few under par rounds. Rob, he holed 1 putt over 10 feet over the weekend. Scheffler. And he still wins. He, as Paul McGinley said last night, he has the answer to every question posed to him.
Tee to green, I think he's just so reliable. It seems every time he goes out there, the guys that hit a lot of greens don't look like they're putting as well as the guys that miss and chip and putt. You think, they might have the same score, compiled it in a completely different way. If you're number one in irons, fairway approach, you're just not going to look like you're putting as well as some of the other guys who scramble a bit more, even though you shot the same score. Otherwise, you shoot 62 every time you go out there. And that doesn't happen. He's just got an incredibly well-rounded golf game. And he is remarkably sure-footed and even-keeled. He doesn't get too up or too down. Almost to the point where you could watch him and his body language and his reactions and stuff and look at Scheffler and say he's a bit dull. He's brilliant, but dull. That's the Scotty Scheffler. Even when he's talking to Jack, and it was very flat line. But Scotty is so phlegmatic and dull. He's dull. But as a golfer,
dull wins.
As a golfer, he is brilliant. He's just a brilliant golfer. This is now more than a flash in the pan run of 4 or 5 tournaments. This is much more than that. And his average final round score is in the 67s. Obviously, yesterday it took a bit of a thump, but before that it was 67 point something.
Yeah,
that's the hardest round when you're closing. You're closing. You see how difficult Soderberg found it yesterday. It's 67 point something. The guy is incredible. World number 1 by some distance, by the way. By some distance.
No one's in the rearview mirror. No one is in the rearview mirror for Scotty at the moment. It's incredible. Jamie, I've always thought this. So I'm going off on a tangent here about you talking about Jack there. He's your hero, right? I've always said this. If I was to meet my sporting hero, I think I'd cry a bit. Would you cry if you met Jack?
No, don't be stupid.
I think because mine's Gaza, and because I think because
God.
Gaza has gone through. Oh, don't give me that. Come on, you know why?
No, but
mine. What?
I'm laughing at Spence. Oh God.
Yeah. I think I would shed a small tear.
Funny enough, I football hero is Liam Brady, who's become a mate.
Yeah.
I played quite a lot with Liam. I love my horse racing. Johnny Frankham back in the day was a jump jockey. I got to play a few times with Johnny Frankham. Great guy. Neither disappointed, and I fortunately missed Jack by 1 spot. Troon in '97. Where we played in the Open this year.
Really?
He was in front of me, yeah. I was my name was next to him on the list, and I missed him. He was in front. So I met him in the locker room and had a picture with him and stuff like that. So, but I've not actually had a conversation with him. So I think he's an absolute great legend, a great guy for the game of golf. I'd love to meet him. And what he's done for that tournament and for the PGA Tour has been incredible. He was there at the when the PGA Tour started with Dean Beeman. When they bought Sawgrass for $1, set it up. They broke away from the PGA of America, so he's just been the number 1 man in on the PGA Tour for me. and in world golf. But obviously, then there's Tiger. Now we've got, Scheffler's still got some work to do, I think, to catch up. But they say never meet your heroes, but I don't know about that. The two I've met have been absolute
that's good.
diamonds.
Jack breaks down the game like nobody else who talks about the game. You hear, if Jack is talking about the game, listen to him about strategy or how you go out there and win or how you keep being consistent from week to week or anything to do with competitive golf, tournament golf. When Jack Nicklaus talks, listen to what he has to say, because over the years he's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Rob, I've never asked you this. Who's your sporting hero? Karel Poborský.
So, for the man who railed when he mentioned Paul Gascoigne and Jamie went, the man who railed at that suggestion has now thrown Karel Poborský at me. See, you don't like it, do you? You like to give it out, Josh, but you're one of those who just can't take it. Obviously, you can't take it. My sporting hero growing up was George Best. Because before I started playing golf, it was football all the time. George Best was my guy, and in fact, George Best and the likes of him in different sports, I'm always attracted to that.
Me too.
The Ronnie O'Sullivans and the Alex Higgins and
the Mavericks,
Paul Gascoigne. Absolutely,
yeah.
I love those people. Ili Nastasi, John McEnroe, those kind of guys. I'm drawn in by that juxtaposition, which is I need peak performance, but also I'm a little bit unhinged. I get drawn in by that.
So not Scott McTominay or Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, not those two.
So as I said,
imagine?
George Best, but post George Best, it was Seve.
Yeah,
a Maverick again. A Maverick.
Yeah, 100%. A charisma explosion is what he was. And like Jamie said, sometimes you're lucky you get to meet your heroes. Sometimes you're even lucky and you get to play with them. And I had that on many occasions. So it was George Best for me, and then it was Seve. Bless him. Yeah.
Just back on Scotty quickly, Jamie. What is Scotty's best trait that makes him so good?
I think his calmness, and also the fact that he doesn't stop. He just backs himself all the time, regardless. He just keeps going. If we talk about Soderberg, Soderberg's in a totally different, obviously, level of player than Scheffler is, but he didn't back himself yesterday. Scheffler, to me, just looks like he keeps going at it. Because he has this inner belief that it's going to work out for me because I'm just going to play my shots. Don't see him backing out, do you? Don't see him. I don't see him backing out at all, ever. So,
but
that's
technique-wise, he's through the ball. He's the best in the world. Through the ball, there's nobody as good as him.
Well,
there's
obviously physical attributes, isn't there? There's obviously physical attributes and watching him hit the ball and all the rest of it. But I'm talking about mental prowess that all the top golfers have had. Tiger, impregnable. Seve was so intimidating. Nicklaus just let them... He
doesn't get flustered.
No, Jack
you never see him get flustered.
Jack never flustered, let them all beat themselves. They've got that same trait.
Hasn't missed a cut in 2 years. Not outside the top 17 since August. Scotty Scheffler. Just his record is just amazing. It really is amazing. Right, everyone. Third men's major of the year coming up extremely quickly. 3 days' time, US Open at Pinehurst number 2 for the first time in 10 years, North Carolina. 2014. Last time we were there, Martin Keimer lapped the field by 8 strokes. Here's a question. Who did he win by 8 shots from? 2 players.
I know this.
Okay, Rob?
I'm pretty sure he was 8 under. The next 2 were level.
Yes.
No, he was 9
who were
under.
the 2?
He was
9
was it 9,
under. Was it? Okay.
He was I thought he was the only person under par there. I got that wrong.
Do you know who the 2 are, Rob?
No.
I do.
Jamie Spence, go on.
Ricky Fowler was one.
Correct.
And the other
That's
guy
the easier one.
I know. And the other one, I've got to be honest with you, Eric Compton.
So Eric Compton. It was in 2014, runner-up. I know. Amazing.
Eric Compton, the man that had 2 heart bypass operations.
That's absolutely right.
I knew there was something, and I couldn't think what it was.
2 new hearts, I think.
Did he?
Not heart bypass. I think he had 2 hearts.
Was it?
Wow.
I think so. I think he had. I think he had
Wow.
2 heart transplants. I think.
Wow, incredible. That's
Yeah.
amazing stuff. He's definitely still playing. I saw him on a PGA Tour leaderboard not long ago. So he's somewhere. I don't know if he's Corn Ferry or what. Here's a question, Jamie. Did you ever think that would be the last win Martin Keimer would have, that US Open in 2014?
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes,
Is that
his last pro
win?
victory.
That's incredible, isn't it? To think of that. I mean, the thing is with Martin, he tried to change his game for a period there, didn't he? Try and get a draw, but this was in his period when he was playing that little cut. He had chipping woes. After that, you saw him because he putted everything round Pinehurst.
Did.
He had chipping woes, and it sort of went through his game a bit. You just can't. It's very difficult to compete if you've got a flaw in your game that glaring really. But yeah, you would never have said that. Never. And
No.
He was putting round bunkers.
He was, yeah.
He was. He was.
Yeah, there you go. That's why. Amazing
Very
golf course,
nice.
isn't it? It's an amazing golf course.
Oh, we'll come on to it in one sec. I was just going to say, the other time it was at Pinehurst before 2014, one of my favourite majors is when Cambo won. And he beat Tiger, Michael Campbell, in 2005. That was, Rob, again, that was one of my favourite final rounds. Campbell was just so good. He held everything on the greens.
Yeah, and US Open greens notoriously are fast and firm and really it's some. You know what Paul Soderberg went through yesterday? If you get into that kind of place on a US Open setup, you can honestly see yourself taking 7 on every hole. Just brutally difficult. And this golf course, Pinehurst number 2, after the Coeur Crenshaw redo, with the bleeding sand, native areas bleeding into the fairways, raised up greens, balled at the side. It's going to be some test. Great
Mr.
golf
Shado,
course.
I want to ask you two. It might be one of my favourite US Open tracks. 7,500 yards. There's no rough. And there's one water hazard on the course at Pinehurst. As Rob said, they've got the off-fairway areas, all hard pan sand, like this wire grass. There's different plants as well. Go on, Jamie.
Penalty area. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But, Jamie, this seems a different test to most US Open tracks, I would say.
Well, it hasn't got the long grass, but when you say no rough, Rob was saying it's got the run-off sand areas that you can get to a lie where you can hardly move the ball. It's a
I would say,
I
should have said long rough. Long rough,
yeah,
I should have said.
I mean, there are fairway bunkers, there's waste. It's be a modern waste area, but it's full up with pampas grass and all sorts of stuff just off the fairways. And of course, they're going to be running as well. So the ball's going to camber off these fairways. And it seems to me that, as Rob said, every green is like an upturned saucer. So your iron play's got to be spot on because you're going to end up with in some very strange positions if you miss the green. They're all going to miss greens. It's inevitable. Who can cope around the greens?
I know.
That's a big.
I know who can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think
you played quite well last night.
Okay, this sort of golf course is it looks magnificent. It's sort of golf course you'd all like to play. It's fast, it's running. Reminds me a little bit of some of the Australian golf courses when you look at them visually with the sand framing the holes. So it will be a great watch. The other one was 1999 with Payne Stewart when he beat Nicholson. He was in the rain then. Payne Stewart. I mean, what a player, what a man, and
iconic.
That was something else as well. So
I played with him just after that.
Yeah, I played with him. I played with him in. Can't remember when I played with him.
Just after he won at Loch Lomond, and then he died in a plane crash.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like ridiculous, 99.
Wow. I always had, and this is a weird thing, I had a weird hatred of Payne Stewart for no reason. For absolutely no reason. I didn't like him. But from what I've heard, you two all know this, apparently he's a lovely guy.
See, that's a very Tottenham supporter type thing.
You've
made your mind up. You've made your mind up about a bloke you know nothing about. You've just decided for no reason that you don't like Payne Stewart.
But you get this for no reason. You don't like
rational.
someone.
That's not
rational.
No,
of course it's not. Of course it's not rational. It just happens, though.
I give you Tottenham. I
play with him.
There's a good reason people don't like us. Go on, Jamie.
the only time I played with him was at Nordvik in the third round. He shot 61. He went on to win the event in the third round. I think I somehow scrambled it round in 70 or something. I was awful, but I got it round. But he put on an absolute masterclass that day to watch him play. He was in his Miami Dolphins outfit that day, and he won the event. He shot 68 the next day and cruised it. So that was a real privilege to watch him play golf. And he was a really good guy, really good guy.
Yeah. Just going back to Pinehurst, Rob. I mean, are there certain qualities that make a US Open champion, or does that go out the window a little bit here at Pinehurst?
Listen, you're not going to win around there spraying it all over the place because, like Jamie was saying, we talked about the green designs and how penal they are. If you start running off with any speed on either side, you've got to be playing for. Look, you can say the same lines every single week in golf. Whoa, you want to be playing from the fairways, but you really do want to be playing from the fairways this week because otherwise you can't. You know, it's going to be 5 yards with an iron is going to make a big difference. You're 5 yards from getting to the top of that ridge where the pin is, it starts rolling backwards. Or you're 5 yards, you pitch it 5 yards too far, big bong, straight over the back into some awful place. It's got to be somebody who has a lot of control in their game. And guess who has the most control in their game? Out of anyone? Have a guess.
Yeah, I know. And he's quite good with his around the greens.
He's a brilliant,
it does sound
underrated, mate.
He's amazing.
Underrated. He's a brilliant,
I've said this, Rob.
Brilliant chipper, wedge player from inside 150 yards. There's nobody better than Scotty Scheffler. And around the greens, he's fantastic.
I would say this course, Jamie, would suit Scheffler like perfectly, surely. I mean, most courses do.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Which courses don't suit him? They're all going to miss fairways, you know, and they're all going to need a little bit of luck where they finish, obviously. But you need a lot of patience around here. If you just the three winners we talked about there, they're three controlled players, aren't they? Not long. Keimer, Campbell, Payne Stewart. Payne Stewart's rhythm, his iron play was exceptional. Good putter. Cambo, similar when he was playing. You know, he had it on a piece of string. And Keimer as well. You know, hit that little fade off the tee. So we're looking for controlled players that keep the ball in play, keep their patience. We're not looking for some. You know, if you think of Rory McIlroy, the way he attacks golf courses, Bryson DeChambeau. I just think they're just not gonna have the patience for it.
Morikawa's another good one. Morikawa's another way he plays. He's another good one for this. The way super steady, fade shape, just do it all day long. He's going to be another runner and rider. You would think.
I just don't think some of the younger players are going to have the. I just don't see them hitting iron off the tee. When does Rory hit iron off the tee?
Yeah, don't see it.
He did a couple of weeks ago. Actually, he hit a few irons off the tee. Rory,
did he?
Yeah. Remember, when he played in where were they playing in Canada? He kept hitting iron off that last tee and varying levels of success. No, he ran out of room. Ran out of room.
Yeah, he's not that stupid.
I'm just checking. Scheffler's the 3-1 favourite. Against Tiger territory here with not quite. I think Tiger would be 2-1 sometimes to win.
Tiger was 13-8.
Obscene.
Tiger was 13-8 to win the USPGA one. I think it was 99 or something like that when he was in his pomp.
Obscene.
And he won.
Obscene. And he won.
Well, Scheffler's getting to the point where if we're going to have some fun and we were going to have a bet, you can have Scheffler or the field.
Or the field, yes.
You've got the field, anyone, bar Scotty Scheffler, or you can have Scotty Scheffler.
I'll have the field. How much?
I mean, the odds say, Tiger was the greatest major player in our recent history, and he had a 1 in 4 when he was playing in his pomp. He could win 1 in 4 tournaments, and they weren't all majors. So everyone's thinking, Scotty Scheffler's going to win this, but you can't keep winning majors. He won the Masters.
I mean, a lot of the Jamie kind of spoke to there about not big drivers. A lot of the past winners of US Opens, big drivers of all. Bryson, Rahm, Brooks, Wyndham Clark, Gary Woodland, all big drivers. But this one, I think, a bit different. Can we quickly just talk about Jon Rahm, who pulled out with an injury on Live on Saturday, I would say. Bit out of nowhere. He's not been playing amazing, I would say. Jamie, that's going to be a bit of a worry, you would think, for the past champ.
I have no idea how he's been playing. I know he had an ankle. It was an ankle problem, wasn't it? He had at the weekend, pulled out. So No, that doesn't bode well. And he's not been in good form. I don't know how much golf he's played. Really, they've not played a lot of golf on the Live Tour, I don't think. So, yeah, he's somebody who you sort of discount at the moment, I would say, which is dangerous. But I mean, such a great talent. But he's not coming in here in any form, and he's injured. So, unlikely.
I know Rory's your number one, Rob, and Rahm would always be your number two. Are you discounting Rahm this week?
The thing is, once you go off to live, I don't. If you're in the previous ecosystem or the current one that we're all in, you get to see how the run up to majors. You get to see how they're playing. Like Jamie's saying, I don't know how John's playing. I know he didn't have a great Masters, didn't stand out at the PGA. He doesn't come in here, you would say, with form, and add an injury to that, then he's probably not playing enough for him. He's probably not playing enough. And there is something to be said for playing even a regular tour event with a cut and a pencil in the card in your hand. That sort of sharpening can't be done on weeks off. Just can't be done. It's just not the same. You can play as many bounce games as you want. You can hit as many balls as you want. But that competitive, it's like a footballer coming back from injury. Okay, he's fit. He's not match fit. I don't think Jon Rahm is match fit. So I hope his injury's okay, and I hope he gets to play the US Open, because you would have said, peak Jon Rahm, this is perfect for him. Perfect.
Right up his alley. Right up his alley. You know what?
Bleeding fade, great iron play. You would have said it was perfect.
I just checked. Jon Rahm is 28-1 to win the US Open. When would you ever have got that in the last 5 years on Jon Rahm? So, I mean, that's probably about his injury as well, to be fair. I think that's probably included in the price. So, yeah. Should we have a couple of picks each of who we think is going to win? Jamie's frowning.
Non-Scheffler picks.
Well, look, are we all going to say we all think Scheffler's going to win?
I think he's the man to beat. He's the man to beat. I'm not going to say he's going to win. He's the man to beat.
Yes, okay. But should we make it fun? Go on, Jamie.
Okay. I'll go with Matt Fitzpatrick. Sort of player would do well around here. He finished 5th in the Memorial, 17th in last year's US Open as defending. He's 5th in the Players. Now, he's not been on top form this year, but he's shown enough for me. On a golf course that should suit him, he's generally very straight driver. He thinks really well, and one of the best putters when he gets going. So, not sure about the cross-handed chipping round here.
I was going to ask about that. But
he's got enough invention in him. I think he's a live runner as an outsider. The other one for me is Morikawa. He's just got to win, hasn't he? Got to win soon, hasn't he?
I know. Yeah, needs this one. Then he's on for the Grand Slam.
Well, there you go. So
that's amazing.
There you go. There's two for me.
Okay, yeah, Morikawa's on my short list. To be fair, he's playing great. Perfect game for this place. So yeah, and Fitzy obviously a past winner as well, Jamie, a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
for Fitzy. So yeah.
I think the game is Josh. Jamie's nicked my Morikawa, so you can't have the same players as Jamie. You got to have two different ones.
I've got two different ones, but go on, Rob.
Okay, go on then.
Yeah, I have. Oh, you go first. Go on. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you take some of mine. Go on, go ahead.
Okay, I'll take some of yours. Okay. So I had two down. I actually have got Bryson written down. Now, I'm kind of going on form here, more maybe than course fit. He's had sixth and second at the majors. He arguably could have won both. He's third in strokes gained tee to green and sixth in strokes gained around the green. That was at Valhalla. So his short game's, not bad. I know it can look ropey sometimes, but I think Bryson's playing great. He's probably the best player on Live at the moment. I think he is, to be fair, the best player there at the moment. And he turns up for big tournaments. I think he's a different player now. Looks a bit more chilled out. And I like, I'm not going to say it again. I like Bryson. I like watching him play. So I'll be interested to see how he does there. And also my other one, I keep picking this guy, Max Homer. I think Max Homer's got a great game for Pinehurst as well. Brilliant iron player. Keeps it in play. Top 3 at the Masters. Top 10s at Bay Hill and Quail Hollow. Guy's class. I've said it before. And I kind of hope he has a good week. We've had a maiden major win in Xander last time out, so I can't see why Max can't do it at Pinehurst. Rob, have I taken either of yours?
So if I was going last, which I am in this 6 possible choices, if I was going last, I would have said there will be no way on earth that I could get to choose Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
But I can.
Do you really think this course suits him, Rob?
Listen, at some point he's going to break his major duck again. At some point it's going to happen. It could happen this week. Everyone gets plugged into the Masters because of what it means. Why could it not happen this week?
I don't know if he's playing well enough, Rob. That's the other thing. I don't think he's playing amazing.
Until we come to the next week. He's not miles away, is he? He's not miles away. He had a poor last round yesterday, and what did he finish 15th or something? I can't remember. It was. He went from 2 under to 2 over. I think he finished.
It was over par.
Yeah, but a lot of people were yesterday, and it's one of those courses you get on the run, you can't see a birdie coming, so on and so forth. So I can have. You've given me a free hit with McIlroy, and I'm gonna add to that and go Xander Schauffele.
Oh, back to back. Okay.
Xander Schauffele.
Wow. Okay. Just what? Any reason, Rob, for Xander?
Because I think he's got to the point now where he's going to make his level of consistency pay more in terms of the wins. What he's not been lacking, what he has been lacking in, is getting over the line. I think Schauffele's big chance this week.
One brings two, as they say in cricket.
So I've got Rory and Xander.
Okay.
Jamie's got Colin and Fitzy.
And I got
and
Bryson.
You've got Bryson and Max Homer, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not mentioning Hovland. I had Hovland written down on a short list as well, to be fair. I think he looks, come back to Joe Mayo, and he looks a different player all of a sudden. Still don't know why he changed. That still blows my mind. We win the FedEx. Let your coach go. But there we go. I'm kind of glad he's gone back. So I think that's about it. Jamie, David Fairclough, thank you so much. You've been a gem for stepping in last minute. What are you shaking your head at for?
Well, thanks for having me again. It's been a pleasure, and I'll speak to you all next week when somebody else drops out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true.
Jamie, just before you go, is there anybody that you decided you didn't like in life, even though you'd never met them or come across them?
No, I like to judge people how I find them when I meet them.
Very good. Yeah, it's very good, Jamie. Very good. Yeah, I just wondered that because I would think that's a pretty unusual space to occupy. I don't
there will
know
be
why.
loads of people. It's an irrational.
Don't know why.
It doesn't make sense,
I just don't like him. I don't know why. I just don't like him.
It will happen. I promise people. I'm going to send you all the tweets that people are going to send in about this, Rob.
Okay.
No
done.
reason
I'll tell you what. The only person I remember watching Sky Golf about 8 years ago, whatever it was, and one of my best mates was on the show, and I thought, who's this? Well, who's this? He's got blue hair. Oh my God! Who is he? Johnny Morgan.
Johnny Morgan.
Muncie.
And Johnny is the bloody great lad. And
He's
so there
such
you
a good
go.
boy.
I was looking at him thinking, oh my God, who's this bloke? And then when I met him, we just get on like a house on fire. He's just a diamond. So
I did that show.
You should never judge people.
Jamie,
No.
I did that show. It was World of Golf. Johnny came on and he had a cowboy hat and he had a buckle. He had the buckle the size of a manhole cover, right?
Yeah.
The cowboy buckle. And he said, I tell you what, I'm going to wear this hat at the show. And they said, no, you're not, Johnny. No, you're not wearing the cowboy hat. Oh, yeah, I'm wearing his hat. And he didn't get to wear the hat, but he was so funny. He is so
funny. He's an absolute guy and still an incredibly good golfer. Like,
he rips it.
He is so talented. It's scary how talented he is.
Yeah, he hits it miles.
Still, he hits it miles and straight, really straight.
Yeah.
And just, lose the ball. He's loves the game. Yeah,
he's a cutter.
Don't have him as the.
No, he's not. He's not great with the blade. Not great with the blade.
All day long, Johnny. I got you all day long.
Yeah.
Oh, John, we love you. We love you. We all love you.
Well, I played just a quick one. I played with him and Iona at St Andrews. We played 17, no wind, and he had driving a sandwich in there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, drive and a sandwich at 17.
Jeez, that's bananas. That is.
And as Jamie said, I missed the green made 4. He 3-putted.
Rob Lee wins 2 up. Oh dear, great fun. Rob as well, thank you so much for coming on. Good stories as well.
All good, Josh.
Thanks, Rob, and enjoy the US Open, both of you.
I think it's going to be great. And if anyone out there watching this or listening to this hasn't seen Pinehurst number 2 before, look forward to the pictures because they're going to be spectacular.
One other thing, you delayed my trip to the supermarket, just so you know. The list is there.
Have you made?
The list is there. It's waiting.
So which supermarket, Jamie?
I know. It's only one. It's only one. Yeah, it's Waitrose.
Oh, when you live down there. When you live down there, Millionaires Row in the Garden of England, you go to Waitrose.
He's not going with the peasants in Sainsbury's, is he?
He's not rushing round to Aldi, is he? Wait for Waitrose. Where are you going, Spence? Waitrose.
Picking up a whole salmon.
He'll have his crushed strawberry cords on. Strawberry cords, leather arm patches.
I've got my foie gras ordered. I'm waiting to go.
Yeah.
Oh dear.